Hey, what's up everybody? In this video tutorial, we're going to take a look at how to create something that looks like whipped cream or looks like an icing dollop for a pastry. It's a question that I get a lot. It's a lot of fun to kind of take a look at, kind of intriguing. Um, and it looks really complex, but it's really not that bad if you follow a couple rules. So I'm going to go ahead and just create a sketch. I'm going to be starting this from the bottom and working my way up. So let's just say we're going to be creating this for some sort of pastry. There's dimensions I usually give to my kids, like, hey, it can't be, over an inch wide and it can't be over an inch tall. So I'm going to say that my diameter is 1 inch. Okay. So that's what I'm just sort of using as a reference to start. Now, what I do is I always have them draw a very small circle. It's going to be tucked in towards the center point. It can't be out here. It has to be in, because otherwise we're going to have some intersection issues when this thing is being twisted when we perform the sweep. So after I draw that circle, I'm just going to go ahead and dimension this just to give you a reference. This is, we're going to say 0.18. I'm now going to start from my origin, track up. Okay, I'm just hovering over the origin. I'm tracking this up. I'm going to start this from the top, and I'm going to draw this line down, okay, to the top of that small circle. I'm now going to go from this intersection. I'm going to draw this line, okay, down here to this circle, and I'm just going to make sure it runs into that circle. Okay, so now I can use mirror. I can select that geometry and then select my mirror line to mirror that over. I'm going to say okay. And now basically I have the point that I'm looking for in order to create the rest of this. So I'm going to now come over here to create, go down into circular pattern. I'm going to pick both pieces of geometry. Then I'm going to select my center point. Okay, and now in my case, you can make however many points you want on this one. I'm just going to keep mine simple. And I'm going to say that this is going to be 7 points, and I'm going to go ahead and say okay. I no longer need the outside, so I can delete that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and start cleaning this up just to keep my profile simple. So I'm going to trim all this up. Okay, so where all these points are going to be independent and not relying on this other geometry. Okay, I can go ahead now and I can wipe out that circle. Looks like I got a random point in here. Can I get rid of it? Yeah. All right. So I have my 7-pointed star. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and finish the sketch. Look at this in the home view. Okay. Now I can turn on my origin and now I can create a sketch either on this work plane or this work plane, but definitely not this one. Okay. So I'm going to start here and just draw this line. And I'm going to just draw a line starting from the origin. I'm going to send this up and I'm going to call this a distance of 1. So my total diameter on this is going to be 1 inch and my height is going to be 1. Okay, now I can come up here, go to create, and now I can come to sweep. Okay, this is going to be my profile, so I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to select my path, which is going to be this. So right now it's going to be acting like an extrusion. However, we have taper angle and twist angle over here. I'm going to say I want this to twist 180 degrees, and now I can come in here and start adjusting my taper angle. So if I want this to come in, it's going to be a negative. So I'm going to say I want this to be -1. All right, and we can see how it goes in. And now I'm going to bump this up. So it's smart to go with smaller increments and then work yourself up. So -2 worked. We're going to say -3. Okay, it's starting to come in towards the point. Let's go with -4. Okay, it's coming right up here to the top. And I bet this is going to fail when it gets to -5. Yep, and it failed. So I'm going to say -4 point. Let's try -4.5. That's still not working. So I'm going to stick with -4. Comes right up here to the point. I'm going to say okay. All right, I can shut off my origin, and that is how you create that whipped cream or icing dollop. Now, with the appearance on this, I mean, it's simple. We could come over here, go into our physical material, and we could just slap some ABS plastic on it. Okay, that's just going to be white icing. Obviously, if you want to change the color on it, you can come here to ABS plastic, right click and say edit, go into your advanced settings, go into your appearance tab, and now here with color, you can actually pick this off the swatch. Okay, you could adjust that to whatever you want and say okay and apply it. But if you kind of take a look at it, the icing itself is actually going to be glossy. All right, it's going to reflect light, and maybe that's what you want. I mean, it doesn't matter. Okay, but what you can also do is you can make this porous, and what I mean by porous is it's going to have like an actual texture to it, like which whipped cream kind of does. So here's another way you could do this. You could right click here at the top, come down to appearance. And what I found is that if you go underneath the paint folder, I know that sounds kind of weird, but remember, we're only talking about appearance here. I'm going to go underneath paint, and you're going to see you have metallic, metal flake, and all this stuff. But powder coat rough, believe it or not, is a pretty good one to use. So I can say powder coat rough. Okay, I can download this one for white, and I can just simply drag that on top of it. But we have to come out here. Let's try it again. We can throw that on top of it. All right, and if you're not really happy with the color on it, don't forget, you can always right click and do an edit. Now you can come in here and change that to whatever color that you want and say done. Now it looks like nothing has happened until you get in here and you can see it really is, sort of porous. It has that porous texture to it, like icing would look. All right, so there you go. That's how you create whipped cream or icing dollop. You can start with the dimensions that you want and sort of work from there, but just make sure when you're creating this original sketch, you have all these bottom points sort of hugged in towards the center, okay, and you shouldn't have any problems with that twist and that taper when you create it. So there you go. Have fun with that.